Start right now. We are recording. So good evening, everybody. This is Dustin Schaefer. I did not set a time limit for this call. I'm out here in Oceanside, California. It is 6:34. We have people calling in, zoomed in all over the world to kind of learn about ketones and ketosis. We just a few minutes ago got off a really cool call of kind of like why you should care about this product, why you should maybe want to share this product with us. But this call is 100% designed for us to help master fat loss. And so I may even take some questions at the end. So we have a fancy chat box down there, and feel free to ask a few questions, but don't rush into it yet. I don't want any questions for at least 10 minutes. I'm going to just talk through fat loss and how do we master that utilizing cool technology called Keto OS. Now, really quickly, I'm going to make some claims or make some disclaimers, is that Keto OS is a tool that can help with fat loss. There is some science that suggests that it will help improve the metabolize of your own fat. It'll also, there's some science that suggests it'll help improve the ability to increase your brown fat, which is actually the good fat. That's the fat you want to have, and the white fat is the fat you don't want to have. So there's really good science on there, and I'm going to talk about what I've done over the last year. We've coached, I'm thinking somewhere between 60 and 70,000 people to improve their fat loss, and which is really, really exciting. And how that's done is primarily through a few things. First off is that the benefits of ketones naturally will help reduce sugar cravings and carb cravings and reduce your appetite. Now, that's not a bad thing. That's a really good thing because the ketones themselves provide energy and fuel to your system. So if you have satisfaction, if you have energy in your body, now people think, well, I ate a apple, that gave me energy. Yes, calorically, the apple gave you energy, but ketones give you the same or give you more caloric value than the apple. But more importantly, the ketones actually got into the cell and was readily available and readily used for energy. Now, I'm not talking about that energy that you use to run around the block. I'm talking about energy that your body needs to do to survive and grow and perspire and inspire yourself for better, right? I'm talking about that energy. I'm talking about the energy where you're like, I didn't dip in the afternoon. I didn't drag out. That's real energy. And that's what we're talking around this ketone conversation. So when you have that, you're less likely to get hangry or reach towards a snack or start munching on a bunch of nuts that you didn't need or reaching for a donut or a cup of coffee that has sugar and carbs in it. So that's what's really cool about this benefits of ketones is that they provide this really stable fuel. Now they do all these other amazing things, right? Some people that when they first start talking about or they start drinking ketones or start a low carb diet, what they'll notice is they'll lose a lot of weight within the first 3, 4, 5 days. And so they're going, oh my God, this product's unbelievable. Well, what kind of weight was that? Now, that was mostly stored water in your cells or sometimes even some inflammation that your body was retaining and holding onto. And you may notice when you start this product, you actually pee a little bit more because there's a diuretic effect of ketones. And your body will actually excrete out excessive fluid that you never needed, that you didn't need. And there'll be a tip at the end that I'm going to talk about of what you're going to have to take to help with that fluid balance. And that's really important. So that's usually that initial weight loss that people have. So be careful because when you lose that weight, let's say that you're a person that says let's say they lose 10 pounds in the first 10 days. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. Great. That's good for you. But just be careful because it probably won't stay at a pound a day every day after that. It's probably going to slow down a little bit because your body now is going to have to start working on its own fat. And that might have been a lot of the excessive fluids that you're holding on to. My rule of thumb is the more weight you lose faster, typically, I'm going to use the word sick, the less healthy you probably are. And most likely you're going to want to stay on this plan longer if fat loss is your goal. So I'm going to say that again. The faster you lose weight at the front end, typically, not always, typically, the more likely you should stay on this plan that I'm going to give you to master fat loss longer without interruptions. And because it tells me most likely you're holding on to excessive fluids, most likely your health isn't as dialed in as you probably think it is. Even if you think you're a super healthy person, that's usually a pretty safe bet. So I just want to kind of put that tip out there for somebody, for all you guys to get. So once again, we're talking about fat loss here. We're not talking about weight loss. So my first tip for everybody I'll come back to tips later. I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of this. So how do we take Keto OS and how does Dustin utilize this? And how does he coach 60, 70, 80, I don't know how many thousands of people? into burning body fat is that when you're utilizing Keto and you really want fat loss, I'm going to encourage to really make dietary changes. And so we're going to talk about those dietary changes and some lifestyle changes that you should do in conjunction with using Keto. And I'm also going to talk about why you should use Keto with this, because that's really, I think, a very important concept. Now, so step one is when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you're going to do when you wake up in the morning is you're going to have a large glass of water. Because we live in a society that we tend to deplete our water through filtrations, and we don't drink water from a nice river coming off of a mountain or wherever it is, I want you to add some sea salt to it, sea salt. The 2 sea salts that I like the most, there's other ones out there. I like Celtic sea salt and I like Himalayan sea salt. Always check your sources where you get your salt from. You know, I always like to get it from I like to find the cleanest sources. And you just have to trust somebody on that. There's the ones I use come off of France for the Celtic sea salt, and the ones I use from the Himalayas often doesn't come from Himalayans. So just keep that in mind. But just look for really good sources of that salt and use that. Put about 1/8 of a teaspoon. Some of you can do more, some of you can do less. 1/8 of a teaspoon in a cup of water. What I'd like you to do is do a little shot, shoot it down, and then drink water after that. And then just get the salt in your system. What it does is it actually will help trigger your GI tract and actually start to get your bowels moving a little bit, which is really good. It helps get your sodium levels up because we're going to need that later on. And I'm going to talk about why we need some extra salt in our diet. Now, some of you, a really good tip is you can squeeze a little bit of lemon or lime. I got that from one of my coaches, one of my mentors, Charles Poliquin, and I've been using that for a long time. And that also can help trigger that. Most people don't need to worry about the little lemon or a little squeeze of lime for messing up their ketosis. If you're doing this for medical reasons, then you may want to avoid that one if your coach or your doctor or your nutritionist tell you not to do that. But that's a great little tip. So you have that glass of water in the morning with a shot of salt, a big glass of water after that, and then don't eat until you're hungry. Now, this is protocol 1. Don't eat until you're hungry. And I'm going to touch on why that matters. Don't eat until you're hungry. Most people that need to lose weight they're not hungry in the morning. And you've been told your whole life that you should eat every 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 or 3 or 4 hours, right? And that's not normal. That's not the way our ancestors lived. That's not the way it's not easy. We've been brainwashed. I've been brainwashed for a long time that that's the way we're supposed to eat. But no, you're a victim of food. If you miss a meal, you feel like crap. Well, what if you got your body to use its own fuel source, this stable fuel source that's built? If you have 20 pounds of fat on you right now, you have nearly 70,000 calories. Actually, it's 75,000 calories that you can burn. No, excuse me, 70. It's 70,000 calories that you don't need to eat. So if you're eating every 2 or 3 hours, you probably didn't need all that food. But I really want you to do is listen to your body. So once again, I'm going to reiterate. Wake up in the morning, you're going to have your little shot of salt water. You're going to have a big glass of water after that. And then don't eat until you're hungry. And then what is eating? What does food consist of? So if you're a coffee drinker and you like your coffee black, awesome. Keep having your coffee black. If you're not a coffee drinker or a tea drinker and you like your tea black, great. Drink it black. Don't add anything to it. If you're a person that likes coffee or likes tea and you add things to it, what I want you to do is make sure you cut out all the carbs and sugar in it. If you're going to add anything to your tea or your coffee, you're going to add a little bit of primarily, there's a few things. I'll give you a list. You can use our keto cream. I'm going to tell you how much in a second. You can use heavy whipping cream. That's like, I like organic. Don't get me wrong. I like organic. I like raw if you can do it. But heavy whipping cream. I like coconut oil. I like MCT oil. I like butter. If you don't know what those are, then don't care. Just forget that I even said it. If you don't know what that is, just forget about it right now. You don't need to know. But if you know one of those and you like to add them, add one of those to your coffee. If you don't, or your tea. If you don't ever add it and you don't like it, don't start adding it. If you want to lose fat, don't start increasing your fat intake rapidly, please. Okay? Now, if you don't, like me, if you don't drink tea or coffee, then don't drink either one of them. Just wait until you're hungry. But let's say that you like coffee and you put some fat in your coffee. Let's say you put some heavy whipping cream or some keto cream in your coffee. Great. Drink your coffee and then don't eat again until you're hungry. It might be an hour later. It might be 3 hours later. So you might look like this. You might wake up and have your shot of salt water in the morning at 7 o'clock. You might have your coffee at 8:30 or 9. And then you might not actually be hungry until 11 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, what you're going to do is you're going to add and have your very first keto OS. If that's when you get hungry, if that's when your body, now you shouldn't be starving. You should be just getting kind of hungry. Like, oh, I think I can eat. Perfect. Have your keto OS right then. All right. If you're using the orange flavored keto OS, I want you to use if you're brand new to this, I want you to start out with a half a serving and drink it over 20 or 30 minutes. If you're using our chocolate or our max, and I'm not going to get into the big difference of this, I'll get a little bit at the end. It doesn't matter to me. They all are going to work. You're going to rock on every one of them. So just stick with this plan. I guarantee it'll work. If you can drink it faster, and you can start with a full serving. So if you do not drink coffee in the morning, or if you don't add fat to your coffee in the morning, whenever you get up, whenever you have your tea or coffee or nothing, whenever you get hungry, you drink your keto OS. Same thing, half a serving of orange and then a full serving of the chocolate or the max, okay? It's very, very simple. Now, what I want you to do with that is I'm going to reiterate it one more time. I just want this to be really, really clear for everybody, okay? And I'm going to keep this call pretty tight so it's not too long, but wake up in the morning, have your shot of salt with a little glass of water after that. Whenever you get hungry, you're going to have either your coffee with whatever you put in it, and preferably no carbs. If you want to use a little stevia, that's fine, and some fat. Use the least amount of fat in your coffee as you can. If fat loss is your goal, use the least amount of fat in your coffee, the least amount of even keto cream. You just maybe use a third of a pack. The least amount of butter. Don't add a bunch of fat right away in the morning, because I'm wanting your body to use your fat for fuel. Only add the fat if you're hungry. But if you're not hungry, just add a splash, okay? And then whenever you get hungry after that, you're gonna have your very first keto OS. And then your rule next is don't eat again until you're hungry. So the simplest rule, you only eat when you're hungry with this program if you want to master fat loss, okay? Step one on your first meal looks like this. Step one, meaning you're just starting out. You're brand new and you're just starting out. I'm getting super fired up, guys. So you're just starting out. I want you to reduce your carbohydrates first. So the first phase is 2 to 3 weeks long for most people, is that you're going to learn and read your labels and start cutting out the carbohydrates. What are the carbohydrates? Watch out for the obvious ones: breads, pastas, grains, potatoes, fruit. Yes, for right now, if you want to lose a lot of weight, I'm going to give you a tip at the end on fruit, but if you want to lose a lot of weight, get the fruit out of your diet. I promise you'll lose weight faster. Remember, our ancestors didn't eat fruit all year long, okay? There are fruits that are better than others, but cut the fruit out. Those are the obvious carbohydrates. Yes, donuts and cookies and things like that are obviously very obvious too, but we're going to cut all those things down. But I want you to also get kind of ninja here and start looking at the back of ketchup and the back of salad dressings and sauces that you use, and see where the carbohydrates are coming from. And let's start cutting those down too. That's that phase one. You're just going to cut your carbs down. You're not increasing your fat intake at first, guys. You're just cutting your carbs down. That's phase one. Once you feel like your carbs are low, and here's the simple rule, write this down. If you've needed to lose more than 20 pounds for more than 2 years, the rule of thumb, and you really want to lose weight, and if weight loss is your indicator if this product is any good, and please don't judge it for that, but if that's the case, you're going to do better with less than 20 grams of carbs a day, including your fiber. Now, I don't want you to add your fiber up. Carbs are carbs. Fiber, everything is equal in my book for right now, okay? So if you're a person that only needs to lose 5 or 10 pounds randomly and you've always kind of been fit, then you don't have to do, usually between 20 and 50 grams of carbs a day is fine, okay? But most people that are really dialed into fat loss, they need to be below 20 grams of carbs. So that first phase is to get the carbohydrates below 20 grams. You don't have to add them up all the time. Get one of those fancy little phone apps, the MyFitnessPal or whatever app you want. Check in every once in a while to see if you're lying to yourself, see how many hidden carbs you're getting here and there. But just only measure it every once in a while to make sure you're not lying to yourself. We don't want to be obsessed about this. At the end of the day, I want you to lose your weight. I want you to feel awesome and not think about food all the time, right? I want you to enjoy your life. So phase two, okay, so that's first meal. We cut our carbs. We don't eat again until we're hungry, right? So we're phase one, we're just eating when we're hungry. We cut carbs first. We're not worrying about protein right now. We're just cutting carbs. And then once you eat your first meal, you wait again until you're hungry. You might find that you eat your first meal somewhere between 11 and 2 o'clock. That is okay. Some of you, if you drink fat in your coffee, you might not eat your first meal till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That is okay. All right. So the next step in that is that you're going to wait again until you're hungry to eat your second meal. Some of you might only eat 1.5 meals a day. Some of you might eat 2, and some of you might even need 3 meals a day. That's perfect. As long as you feel awesome, your energy levels are up and you feel really, really good, then that's fine with me. I'm completely fine. But then that second meal, the same thing. You're just going to reduce your carbohydrates. You're going to drop your carbohydrates down. You're not going to increase your protein intake. You're not going to increase your fat intake at first. You're not even going to reduce your fat intake at first. Okay? So that's how this first phase works. If you need a snack, you're going to choose from this list of snacks. All right? And you can probably more than this, but you're just going to choose from this list. All right. Hard-boiled egg, a half a serving or even a quarter serving of Keto. All right, I didn't say a full serving. You may only need a half. And the reason why, if you drink a lot of Keto, your body actually will use the Keto for fuel and not your fat. You only use the Keto if you feel like you really need it. You had a long day or had a hard day or hard workout and you're like, okay, I need some Keto, then have it then. All right. If you do dairy, you can have some cheese. If you do salami, you can have some salami. I do uncured salamis. You can do a little avocado. You can do what we call these fat bombs. I would tell people be wary and be careful of fat bombs if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to drop body fat, because it adds up calories really, really fast. So, and I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. So that's phase 1. Salt water in the morning. Don't eat until you're hungry. Have your either coffee or your Keto whenever you get hungry. It's just wait till you're hungry. Have your very first meal. Cut your carbs down. Wait till you're hungry. Have your second meal. Cut your carbs down. If you need a snack, avocado, coconut oil, hard-boiled egg, a little bit of Keto, or if you want to get ninja and have a little fat bomb, make a fat bomb up and have a little fat bomb. Okay. Simple as that. Phase 2 is after that 2 to 3 week period of you dropping your carbohydrates. Phase 2 is then we start looking at transitioning your proteins. What I want you to do is start paying attention to having less amount of protein, choose fattier meat over leaner meat. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really important. So what I want you to do is instead of having a chicken breast, I want you to have a chicken thigh instead, or chicken leg instead. Instead of having a lean piece of beef, I want you to have a fattier piece of beef. You want to come say hi? My little guy's behind me here. So I want you to have a little bit, like have fattier fish over leaner fish. What that'll do is you're going to have less protein and it's going to start to increase your fat intake and you're going to feel more satiated and more satisfied. Phase 2 is you're going to start to cook your vegetables with a little bit extra oil, a little butter, olive oil, coconut oil, duck fat. You're not going to drown it. You're just going to start transitioning. So that's going to be another week to 2 week to 3 week phase for the individuals, depending on the person. So our goal isn't to rush to a high fat diet. Our goal is to slowly drop your carbohydrates for you to learn where your hidden carbohydrates are coming from that are causing you to prevent you from losing weight. And then our goal is to slowly start to change your protein into fattier proteins versus lean proteins. Now, if you do Keto, hey, Mom, can you help me out? Thanks. If you do Keto, and you're drinking, or sorry, if you do, sorry, I lost my train of thought. My little guy's behind me, so I apologize. So if you want to follow this diet and you want to follow this lifestyle, what I'd like for you to do is you're going to transition into this low carb first, and then slowly bring your protein into moderation. Protein for moderation for women is typically between 40 and 70 grams. All right. Protein for men is typically between 80 and 120 grams. Now, if you're an athlete, this is not for athletes. This is for people that want to lose weight. Now, if you're a fat athlete, no offense, then follow this plan because it shouldn't be an issue. Okay, guys? So follow this plan even if you're an overweight athlete that wants to lean out. All right. So the last phase of this is for you to transition and start increasing your fat intake. So as your body starts to drop weight, right? If you start getting hungry more, you're like, man, Dustin, I'm just more hungry than I was when I started. That tells me that you need to start to increase your fat intake, right? Because your body it's slowing down on burning your own fat. So we need to ingest fat, right? Because how this looks from a fat loss process is that we have a lot of macronutrients. You got carbohydrates you're eating from mostly vegetables like green leafy vegetables, avocado is fine. It's a fruit. Through cauliflower, broccoli, tomatoes. I don't get too picky on my vegetables as long as they're not starchy. You can eat kind of whatever vegetables you want. Lean on the green, they'll be better. And then so you're gonna get most of your carbohydrates from that. You're gonna get your protein from your animal meats. If you're a vegetarian, you're gonna have to work a little harder, maybe use some pea or rice protein. You're gonna have to watch the carbohydrates and be really ninja about not overeating nuts and things like that. And we can maybe do another call in the future on vegetarians. It's a little bit different. And then what you're going to do is you're going to slowly increase your fat intake. But the calories are coming from carbs, protein, the fat that you eat, but also from the fat off your waistline and your buttocks and your hips and your thighs and your feet and your ankles and wherever your fat's been held, right? We don't want to eat a lot of fat because you're not going to tap into your fat, right? I also don't want you counting calories all the time. I want you to listen to your body and only eat when you're hungry. Pay attention to yourself, right? If you didn't eat for 3 days, I'm not telling you not to. I don't really care. We've been designed to go that long. As long as you feel super awesome, that's all I care about. I don't care about all these numbers, because what I want you to do is get a good result. We'll get the numbers dialed in later, but let your body do this transition, okay? And then as your body gets leaner and starts to get less body fat, you don't have as much to eat from yourself. You're gonna have to consume more through your food. And then therefore you're gonna be more satisfied, feel more satiated, and feel better. And that's really the trick to this thing, okay? That's the key. Now, so once again, I'm gonna do a quick recap of the fat loss plan. This is my plan number one, the one I use for almost everybody. It's whenever you wake up in the morning, have your salt water, some people might do more or less salt water. You can decide for yourself. 1/8 of a teaspoon in a shot glass. Follow it with a big glass of water after that. Don't eat until you're hungry. Either have your coffee or have your Keto-S, whenever that is. If you drink your coffee, then wait a little longer to have your Keto-S. Then have your first meal. Don't eat until you're hungry. Have your first meal usually between 11 and 3 o'clock. Low carb first. Have your second meal whenever you get hungry, whenever that is. Low carb first. Cut the carbs down first. Once you go to phase 2, then we start taking our protein and transition it into fattier proteins and not so much lean proteins. If you do like chicken breast, have a half a chicken breast or a smaller piece than a big piece, because all that protein can cause, especially you women, can cause your blood sugar to spike and can slow down fat loss. So cut your chicken breast into half and just add a little extra butter or olive oil or something on your vegetables to offset the hunger, okay? And then the third phase is that you're gonna slowly, if you get hungry, if you're not hungry, just keep running with phase 2. You're losing weight, just keep going with phase 2. And then the third phase, if you start getting hungry, I want you to slowly increase your fat intake. All right, so that's simple plan, my first protocol. My second protocol, without going through the whole thing, all the differences from my second protocol to my first protocol, and I use this for nurses, teachers, sometimes doctors, trainers, hairstylists, is that you take your first meal and you have it early in the day. And that also works for those people that wake up and they're just super hungry and they love breakfast. I happen to be that guy. I eat breakfast 3 times a week. Is I take my breakfast and I have my first meal in the morning, and then I just wait till I'm hungry. I still do my water, but I just wait till I'm hungry to eat my first meal. And then my first meal would officially be my Keto-S. Might have that at 1 o'clock or have it at 11 o'clock. And I fast through the middle of the day. So I have my first meal, I have my Keto-S through the day, and then I have my meal at the afternoon or evening. And then I still might need a snack in here or there, right? So that's my second protocol, really simple. It's not any different in the phases. You just drop carbs first. You transition your proteins to lower protein amount, a higher fat, so less lean, more fatty proteins. And then if you get hungry down the road, you can start increasing your fat intake. So that's a simple formula for fat loss. It's how I help coach 60, 70, 80,000 people to lose body fat. If they're not losing body fat, 99% of the time, barring some type of crazy, weird condition, they're not following those guidelines. They're overstressed. They're overthinking it. They're trying too hard. They're trying to think. They're adding too much fat to your coffee. Ladies, stop adding so much fat to your coffee. You want to lose weight. Stop it. It's causing so many, you're eating 400 or 500 calories. Half your calories for the day is right off the bat in the morning. I'm saying this because I get it every day. People always say, why am I not losing weight? I ask how much fat you put in your coffee. Oh, I put 3 tablespoons of this and 6 tablespoons of this. And you don't need that to lose this body fat. You're slowing yourselves down. So that's just a little tip. What I want to do is I want to list a handful of tips here and that are going to help you guys be better at this. So tip 1 is move your body. The key to fat loss is walk first thing in the morning. Do your light activity and cardio first thing in the morning. After your water, get up, do your water, go hit the pavement and walk. The longer you walk, the better. If you go for an hour, you're going to be in fat burning mode. Don't drink your Keto-S unless it's necessary for you to actually be able to walk, right? If you can't actually walk without Keto-S, then obviously use Keto-S. But just get up and go for a walk. Do your workouts on an empty stomach. If you're a high performance athlete, once again, this is not for you, but if you need it for performance, then drink your Keto-S before you work out in the morning. But most of you for fat loss, it's better not to have anything. Go out for a long walk, go hit your workouts, do them on an empty stomach. Still, when you get done, don't go do a protein shake after your workout. Most people do not work out hard enough to deserve a protein shake, right? There's maybe 3 people on this call that do, but you don't need it. Your body, you have enough fuel on your system to regenerate tissue and to grow muscles. You don't need all that extra stuff, okay? And then just wait till you're hungry after that. And that's the best formula. That's the first tip. Second tip is drink more water and add more salt to your water and your food. When you're in a state of ketosis, you deplete your electrolytes. You flush out that extra sodium. We have sodium in our product, which is great, but you may have to add more. If you ever have a headache, if you're ever fatigued, if you're ever tired, if you don't feel right, if you're not feeling super awesome and you're following this plan, I would almost always guarantee you're dehydrated. Not that you're not drinking enough water, you're just not getting enough electrolytes in your water. You're probably using some filtration system. You're probably using some type of bottled water from Costco or something where it doesn't have all the nutrients in it. So you need to add more sea salt, and you'll be surprised because here's my little test. If you don't feel super awesome, I want you to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt to a cup of water, drink it down, do it again 30 minutes later, and see if you feel better. If you go, oh my God, I feel so much better, that tells me you need to always have more salt in your day and your diet doing this plan. Okay, more in your food, more in your water, maybe more in the morning. Okay, so that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is get to bed. Sleep is vital for weight loss. Charles Poliquin taught me years ago is that if you don't eat 3 to 4 hours before you go to bed, you're going to maximize weight loss exponentially. Fat loss is going to burn off your system. So eating right before you go to bed is not a great idea. If you really need to eat before you go to bed, all fat. You just want to have a little bit of fat. And that's where those fat bombs can come in. Just a small little fat bomb can be awesome. Or a 1/4 or a 1/2 a serving of decaf Keto, boom, knocks out the cravings. You sleep like a baby, feel awesome. Okay, so that's tip number 3, right? So we have move your body, salt and sodium. You may need some electrolytes with that salt, and we can talk about that maybe on another call. And then the last one is, or the third one is sleep, get rest, rest your body. And here's the 4th one. Throw the damn scale away. Get rid of the scale. The stress of getting on a scale actually slows down weight loss. Studies have shown for years, if you weigh yourself, you actually lose weight slower. Unless you're Michael Rutherford, who's in competition with the scale, where he beats it up and goes, I didn't lose weight yet. He gets out and he walks for an hour until the scale changed. Most of you are not that person. Face it, if you really need to lose weight, that scale's been kicking your butt for years. And the emotional reaction you have to that scale sets you up for increasing a hormone that actually slows down weight loss and fat loss. So, and I keep interchanging the words weight loss and fat loss. I am talking about fat loss, not weight loss here, but I interchange it because that's how your brain works. You don't get the difference anyway. So I want you to think of it as the same. Get rid of the scale so you don't know what the number is anyway, and get your clothes. You're going to go out, and I want you to pick your favorite outfit that doesn't fit. And dudes, I want you to do the same thing. Put on a shirt that you look fat in. Put it on, and then go every 2 weeks, put that clothes back on. Once it fits, awesome. Go find another outfit that doesn't fit. I just got off the phone with a lady that she's now in her high school clothes. She's like 48 years old. Good for her. Like, that's awesome. She didn't use a scale. She used her clothes. Why? Because she looked prettier. She looked beautiful. It made her feel happy. It made her feel wonderful. She just felt better about herself using her clothes, right? And that's one of the most powerful things that you can use. And I want you to calm down. Don't worry about it. De-stress yourself, right? Take time to enjoy yourself. My goal isn't for any of you to lose weight. My goal isn't for any of you to lose fat. My goal is for you to get to your ideal body composition, feel awesome, look sexy, look handsome, look hulky, whatever it is, and live your life forever that way. Like, let's get past all this crap and let's get to where we want to be, and then let's enjoy our life, celebrate ketones and ketosis, and just have fun. Because I want you not only to get to where you want to be, I want to teach you how to cheat. Not cheat, how to celebrate, how to experience the finer things in this world and not feel like you're going to get fat overnight. I want you to go to a wedding and actually look good at the wedding and then eat cake and go, yes, that was awesome. But know that you're going to be right back on a path that makes sense for you, not a path that put 5 or 10, 20 or 30 pounds back on you and you're back miserable, not happy with your weight or your body or your image, right? So that's what my goal is for all of you. Really, really important. I had another tip that just hit my mind and I just slipped it, and I apologize. But those are the main aspects of this mastering this weight loss is less stress, more sleep, everything you've ever been told. You know, get outside. I didn't say stay inside. Get outside, walk, move your body, and then follow that simple eating plan that I laid out for you. Have fun with it. Get the cookbook. I'm going to put this call on my website. You can guys re-listen to it. I'm going to probably do this call again and even make it even better. So as for fat loss, once again, I'm going to answer some questions here. If you plateau, if you stop losing weight at 3 to 5 weeks, that is normal. Most people are going to plateau around 3 to 5 weeks. That's okay. That's why not having a scale is a good thing. Your body's still improving. Your hair's quality is improving. Your skin's improving. Your muscles are getting stronger. Your bones are getting harder. So don't use that scale as long as but don't lie to yourself either. That's when you can check on that app and just say, hey, am I lying to myself? Oh my God, I'm eating 70 grams of carbs a day. That's not going to work for me. I need to get back to where it works for me. And like it or not, guys, I'm a guy that only eats 20 grams or less a day. And I would be fat if I didn't. So, hey, I get it. Like, it sucks that I can't go eat whatever I want and be skinny, but I also have a fulfilled life. I feel great every day. I get to play with my son. I look awesome. I don't miss carbs at all, right? I enjoy, we just had bacon and avocados wrapped in, we eat fun food, right? So I get it, but it's really important. If you plateau after 3 to 5 weeks, that's okay. Just keep going. Stick with this community, because I don't want you to judge our product based on fat loss. I want you to judge our product based on all the other stories additionally, because fat loss still has to require you to make some dietary changes for yourself. And if you don't make them appropriate for yourself, if you don't do this plan I laid out for you, it may not work for you as effective as it did for your friend who didn't have to try as hard as you did. Don't blame our product. Blame your friend. I'm just kidding. But don't blame our product. Just realize that you're just going to have to transition a little bit longer. You have to stick with it a little bit longer. And that's why I tell everybody, if you're going to lose weight, commit to 90 days of this. If you want to lose body fat and you really want to maximize fat loss, commit to 90 days of this product. And I promise you, it'll change your life forever. The last one I had is about bowel movements. And that was my last tip. And I was looking at Joe here and I'm like, man, what would Joe ask me? So what happens if you are using and transitioning your diet? Most of the time, your bowels will get a little bit funny. Your bowels will get a little bit weird. Okay. So you might get backed up. You might get constipation. If you're a person that's prone to constipation, the salt water should help a lot. But if that doesn't help, I want you to get magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate is really good for bowel movements. Not only does it help relax your body, but it gets your bowels moving. So you can use that. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you take 2 grams a day. Most pills come in 150 milligrams. You're going to start with 1 to 2 a day with your meals. And then if you're not going, just add up. Just keep adding more until you start going. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to end up having a little bit of loose stools and then cut back. Don't stop taking it. Just start backing it off and find out how many you need every day to keep you going regular. And then over time, it will get better and it'll maintain itself. Okay. So magnesium citrate. Now, if you have loose stools, or because usually loose stools come from drinking Keto really fast, or it can come from eating too much fat too quickly, and your stools can get kind of loose. That's not uncommon. It just takes time for your body to transition. If it persists for more than 3 or 4 days, typically I would look at you're eating too much fat too fast, or if maybe you don't have a gallbladder, you may need some additional digestive support. You may need to get some ox bile or digestive enzymes. You've had a history of digestive issues, you maybe want to invest in some digestive enzymes with some ox bile in it or bile salts, and utilize that before you eat, and that will help improve that digestive system. And just take it a little bit slower. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the product. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with the diet or the lifestyle that we're encouraging. It just means your system is a little bit more fragile, needs to take some time, and we need to figure it out. Okay. Last tip, if you get cramps or if you get headaches, like I said, increase your sodium intake. You may need some extra electrolytes like magnesium and potassium. Get those from your health food store. Start utilizing them regularly. I'm going to end the fat loss portion of the call right there. I wanted to keep it tight. It was a little longer than I wanted to be. It was about 30 minutes, but I'm going to open it up to some questions. So I'm going to look at I'm not going to let everybody talk, but I'm going to look at this chat line here and see what I got for questions over here. Okay. So what do we got? And I will not answer any medical questions at all. How's the baby watch going? My baby is doing great. We should have a baby any day now. Any questions? I'm wearing pants. Hey, Amber, awesome. I'm wearing pants I haven't worn in years. Congratulations, Amber. Somebody asked, what was first added to coffee? Preferably nothing to coffee, but if you want to add anything to coffee, you can add a little bit of heavy whipping cream, coconut oil, butter, almond milk, or almond milk unsweetened is fine. How much salt do you take with water? I always start with everybody with an eighth of a teaspoon and work up there in the morning. Donna Carter actually filled in for me. That was awesome. Will you lose weight with reducing carbohydrates anyway, though, that you have trouble doing it? Yeah, some people will lose weight just by drinking our product. They don't even have to do much, and they start dropping pounds. Those people are awesome, good for you guys, but that's not going to be the masses. So just be aware of that, because I don't want some person that drops 10 pounds in 2 weeks, have a friend that's morbidly obese go, well, heck, if you can lose weight that fast, I should lose it even faster, and then not meet those same expectations. So some people it's going to take a little bit longer. What about TH1 or T2, T3 diabetes? I will not answer diabetic questions or any type of health questions. We do have a really cool on our Facebook page, facebook.com/justproveit. Dr. Heather Carden has a lot of good information in there. Listen to her videos. They're great. So I definitely encourage that. Ask our expert if you want to maintain muscle mass. Well, what's really cool about maintaining muscle mass is you don't need a ton of protein, but actually science is showing that when you're in a state of ketosis, it preserves muscle mass from being lost. So you can actually go pretty low protein and maintain muscle mass. Now, don't get me wrong, professional bodybuilders are not going to follow this plan quite like I laid out, but they should be following their own plan for their own body and their own system. But you should be consuming some protein. I don't want you fully keto. You don't need to be like a medically induced keto person where you're at 5% protein. I know definitely you can have, like I said, men are typically between 80 and 120 grams a day. Women between 40 and 70 grams a day. And if you're a bigger dude, I got a guy out here, he looks like a beast. He probably can do quite a bit more protein and be just fine. But you don't need a ton of protein to maintain muscle mass. It's just not required. With coffee, a dash of milk. Okay, dash of milk's fine. I'd rather use heavy whipping cream instead of milk. If I want to lose weight, take protein after a high intensity workout. Yeah, if you're weight loss and this is Charles's requirement, right? He uses the word fat a lot. If you have 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds or more to lose, first off, don't add a bunch of carbohydrates around your workout. You do not need them. You got Keto instead and salt. But you don't need to add a bunch of protein. Most of you do not work out hard enough to require the amounts of protein after a workout. It's just not required. Now, if you are a very high competitive athlete, CrossFit athlete, and you work out really hard, then you can strategically bring in some protein after. I'm fine with that. But if it slows down your fat loss, if you're not losing fat fast enough, then cut that protein really small. Reduce the amount of it, okay? I gained 25 pounds of lean mass, cut way down on protein, and lost 7% body fat. Awesome. Way to go, Marcus. I love it. Any other questions? Best whey product for a new person incorporating Keto. So yeah, if you're brand new and you're starting out, this is really about fat loss. I tell people, brand new people, just drink this product whenever you feel like you need to. If you're not as hungry, don't eat as much. And you're not craving as much sugar, don't eat as much. And just pay attention to how your energy levels is, how your mood is, how you sleep, how you feel, how your body moves, because this product will change your life. I guarantee it. And it's going to change somebody's life that you know very, very close to you. I promise you that. Just commit to it, and it'll make a big difference for you. So thanks, Brian, for asking that. Customers, color. Oh, here we got these funny little, what color should our pee be? Primarily, your pee should be a light yellow or clear. It shouldn't be dark yellow. That tells me you're probably dehydrated and you need to increase your water and you need to increase your sodium levels. But hey, keep in mind, if you're eating a bunch of supplements, you might be peeing those out. Not that I'm against supplements, but extra B vitamins will often come out in your urine. And so you might be peeing out vitamins. All right. So some people ask about, do I need to measure my ketone levels? Truth is I don't coach that. I don't coach for people to measure their ketone levels. I found a system that works. I just let people do the system and let your body change. If you want to measure them, feel free to buy some pee sticks. They're only good for about 3 weeks, not the container, but measuring them. If you follow this diet, after about 3 weeks, they're kind of inaccurate and they don't tell you very much. And all it does is you can read the box. It tells you how much you should, what color it should be that you're in ketosis. But the truth is I just tell people not bother with them. I don't see it necessary. If you're really crazy about ketones, you can order a blood meter. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, please ignore it. It's not required for fat loss whatsoever. But if you want to geek out, you can definitely buy one of those. Is it bad to drink a full serving of Keto quickly? Absolutely not. I do encourage people to drink it usually over 20 minutes. I think people get better results if they drink it in 20-minute period. But I have no problem drinking a max. I'm actually drinking one right now. I would have no problem drinking 4 of these at one time. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I'm not telling you to do that, but it wouldn't even occur to me. Now, the orange flavor that has the MCTs in it, probably not going to want to drink that super quickly. You're probably not going to want to drink that really fast because that fat in there might go through your GI tract, and that might be unpleasant for you. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with the product. It just tells me that your body can't tolerate those fats that quickly, and so you got to take it a little slower. One more question here. Did I record this call? Yes, I did record this call. I'm down 28 centimeters total body mass, 3 weeks, killing it. Awesome, Anita. That's great. 28 centimeters, there's 2.54 centimeters per inch, just so you know. I don't know why I remember that. How much? Great call, Dustin. Great info. Hey, thanks, guys. How much water should someone drink each day? Their secret. Oh, this is another secret. I should have told it earlier. 64 ounces a day was made up. It's like changing your oil in your car every 3,000 miles was made up. It wasn't real. Nothing about that is ever even, there's no evidence or anything about that. Not that I want to talk about car oil. I do drive a Tesla, so I don't need car oil. But we really don't know how much water you need. There's no formula that really tells you the amount you need. The best case scenario is take your body weight, cut it in half and put it in ounces. But even that is weird, right? Let's say if I got a guy that's 500 pounds. Should he really drink 250 ounces of water a day? Probably not. Should I have a girl that only weighs 60 pounds drink 30 ounces of water a day? I don't know. Maybe not. What if she's a runner? What if she's an athlete? 60-pound athlete, that's weird, but gymnasts that are young. So how much water should you drink? More. Typically, that's the answer. Drink more. If you're waking up every hour to pee, you probably drank too much. So cut back at night. Don't drink so much at night, but that's what I want to start your day in. You're drinking your Keto water, right? I like 25, 30 ounces. You're drinking your water in the morning. Drink water throughout the day. Add salt to it. Add some electrolytes to it. If you live in the desert, you're going to need more. If you live in Minnesota in the wintertime, you're going to need more. Ironically, it's dry in the wintertime, so you actually drink more water in the wintertime. If you drink water in the summer, you actually can get away with a little bit less. So it all depends. There's no perfect formula. So, but just lean on more. I hope that answered you guys' question, because as soon as we try to get formulas and we try to like macros and micros and you start doing all that, you're setting yourself up for long-term failure, because my goal again is not for just for you to lose body fat. It's to you to get to the life that you want to be and enjoy your life from here forward. And there's no perfect way to measure that. I can't measure my water every day. That's why, no offense to this program that's out there that where you go every day and you watch your weight and you measure these points. That's why these people never can quit. They're stuck on a system that just measures everything in their life. And they're like a victim. They're like a prisoner of that system. I want to break through to that. So I really encourage everybody, just drink more water. If you feel like that was too much, then drink less water. But be prepared. The same thing with food. Like, be prepared. Always keep Keto on you. If you're ever in a pinch or in a bind and you don't know what to do, drink more Keto. It'll protect you. If you go on vacation, drink more Keto. If you're going to go out and have a birthday cake and like, I'm trying to lose fat, but I'm going to eat cake and I guarantee I'm going to eat cake, drink Keto before you eat the cake, and then drink a Keto when you get back from eating the cake. It'll protect you from gaining more weight. It'll protect you from gaining that extra fat. So we have the perfect tool in here. Let's see if there's any other good questions. I'm gonna jump off here. I've gone from 225 down to 155 by changing my diet using Keto. Awesome job, Jim. Jim, you're a rock star, man. Love this stuff. Okay, Jennifer, Sydney, Australia. Did you record this? Of course. How do I access the recording? I'll get the recording out to everybody. I hope this was helpful. I'm gonna unlock and unmute everybody for just a second. I appreciate everybody getting on. I'm open to all the suggestions. I'm going to require you guys to reach out to your leaders and let them know, what else do you guys want to learn? I'm going to shorten this call. We're going to do this fat loss call a few times because I want to condense it and make it better. I'm going to ask a couple of my leaders to help me do that. And so I really want to encourage all you guys to plug in. Let me answer these questions. I'm going to bring on other leaders. I'm going to bring on some exercise specialists. I'm going to bring on some lifestyle specialists to educate and teach you. This call right here is designed for customers and promoters of our product to get the best result of our product, but more importantly, to get the best result of their health. I'm going to do talks on sleep. I'm going to actually do really cool ninja talks on, I'm using the word ninja a lot right now. I don't know why, but I'm going to do a lot of talks on how to improve your water. Like, how can you actually make water better? I'm going to do a talk on sunlight and why that's so vital. I'm going to do a talk on stress and sleep and mood and sleeping positions. I'm even going to put a talk together on if you have some aches and pains in your body that can't go away. I'm going to give you guys some tips on how to change that and what you can do in your day-to-day life to reduce some of the pain stress in your body from just maybe day-to-day life things that you're dealing with. So that's what I want to build this night around, because I really want this night to build this community so that everybody gets what they need to get out of this. Whatever you need to get better, I want to provide those resources for you. And so we're going to do athletic training calls on this. It's going to be designed for athletes that want to improve performance, because maybe you're not the athlete, but maybe your son needs to hear that call. So I appreciate everybody. I'm going to unmute you guys. Give me a good holler. Give me a hoorah. Send back into our text threads. Give me all the feedback. Critique me. Beat me up. I want to be better for you, so I can't know that unless you guys critique me. So you're all unmuted right now. I love it. All right. Mute all. Here we go. Sweet, guys. Everybody have a wonderful night. Peace out. See you soon.